Welcome to Rooted and Radiant, a podcast dedicated to women's health and women's concerns with women's voices. Rooted and Radiant, hosted by Sarah Stagg with co-host Jessica Parker.
Hello and welcome to Rooted and Radiant. This is a podcast guiding you into true holistic wellness, a podcast to plug the busy woman into her community, and a podcast that sometimes we're going to go over today's taboo topics. I am Sarah Stagg with the Ashland News Observer. This is Jessica Parker, co-host. She is with Heaven Bound Earth Sun Skincare, and together we're rooted and Radiant. So welcome to this. For our first podcast ever, we want to spend some time and define true holistic wellness. Would you agree that that's something that maybe people, it's a buzz phrase and people hear it and they think they know what it is, but really nobody's ever broken it down?
Yes, the definition. So what is it?
We're gonna break it down. I like words. I'm a word nerd, so we're gonna go word by word. We'll start with wellness. Wellness is the consistent pursuit of good health. So consistent pursuit of good health. Holistic is the whole picture: mind, body, spirit.
Yes.
So holistic wellness is the consistent pursuit of good health of mind, body, and spirit, right?
Yes, and then we can break that down further, but I'm going to let you kind of go into the mind, body, and spirit part, because as well, like that is so...
Okay. We'll break that down first.
Yes, we'll break mind, body, and spirit, and then we'll go into the wellness wheel.
Wellness wheel. I'm excited. So mind, that's mental, how you feel about things. And body, of course, that's physical. And I do want to pause here and point out that a lot of times when we talk about wellness, we equate it with fitness, and as if fitness is wellness and wellness is fitness, and that's just not true. You can be, let's see, how do I say this? I've said this before. You can be fit without being well, but
Yes.
you cannot be well without being fit. So one doesn't necessarily equal the other. So for the physical part, that is your fitness, how well you are in your bones, your organs, your muscles. And then we have spirit. Spirit is your connection to a higher power, connection to other people, community, which, by the way, I really have this firm belief that community is a reflection of the Holy Trinity, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. And so community is very important, and it's one of the three elements of holistic wellness, so mind, body, and spirit. Now, Jessica is a life coach, Heaven Bound Earth Sun Skincare and Life Coaching. And if you go to her as a client, when people come to you as a client, sometimes you start them off with a well check, but in your practice, you've said a wellness wheel.
Yes,
Okay?
because it's fluid. When we talk about wellness, this is a holistically being well. And that goes from your spirit, emotions, your occupation, intellectual, physical, environmental, financial, and social, which that wraps up your community as well. So when we go through that, a lot of times I have clients come to me and they're like, okay, I know I need help, but I don't know where I need to start. I don't feel well. And so a lot of times we go to a doctor when we don't feel well. And so that leads into possibly antidepressants. And because as a doctor, they're trying to fix the issue that's right here at hand, instead of doing a well check and the entire being. So when we go into spiritual, how do you feel connected to something higher than yourself?
And I think you've mentioned before, spiritual is where you normally start.
Absolutely.
Your well check. Why is that?
Spiritually, if you cannot be connected to your higher part, God, He teaches us what love is. He teaches us what the fruit of the spirits are. And so if we can dig down deeper into, and that's in Galatians 5:22 and 23, where are the fruit of the spirits? Kindness, love, self-control. And so, and I'm going to stop at self-control, although there's many more. But self-control right there tells you that goes into your wellness as far as our financial Do you have self-control when it comes to your spending habits?
Mm-hmm.
That goes into physical. Do you have the self-control to show up to the gym, but also gluttony, to not overeat? So I think when we start at spiritual, we really cover a big basis of what we're going to have to take, the fruits, to be fruitful holistically. And so that's why the wheel, and I don't know if y'all can quite see, it is a complete wheel. When we talk about the wheel, it's continuous. And even me as a holistic life coach, and I have my little journal, and I think if y'all hang around for some more podcasts, y'all are gonna catch some journaling. Even if you're at Namaste, we do journaling on both sides at Namaste. So I journaled my well check last night.
I want to stop you right there because you're letting a little cat out of the bag there. Namaste is the studio that she works at, and I happen to do the yoga portion of that, the physical portion of that. So that's what she's talking about when she's talking about Namaste, the Namaste studios. And there, with her life coaching side and the physical side, there are some of the yoga classes that use journaling to start off with, and her life coaching does as well.
Yes.
And I think you can agree on this. The reason I have incorporated journaling into the physical part is because if we can connect mind to body, a lot of our intentions are going to be met. A lot of our intentions, we're going to stay on that road
Absolutely.
of what we are there for. And I really feel like that's important, that connection from mind to body, because we live in a world that wants you to be very disconnected, not only from each other, but disconnected from the importance of what your body is doing. And take breath, for instance. If you just want a literal example, you breathe all day long, right?
Absolutely.
We don't, something's really wrong. But you breathe all day long, and it is very important. That breath is important. But we don't think about it. We don't think about it. But if we pause throughout the day several times, I know who has time to do that in an overbusy schedule. But if you take the time and put importance on being still and connecting your mind to the body, listen to your inhales and listen to your exhales.
Yahweh.
Yes, absolutely. It does make the phonetic sound of Yahweh. And you're going to have a bit more inner peace, a bit more calm. You're going to be closer to feeling well, mind, body, and spirit, so holistically well.
Absolutely.
And I think it's interesting that you use a wellness wheel. It is a circle, and you mentioned fluid, never ending. And you and I have talked a lot about when you set goals. People come to us, both on the physical side and the mental side of the studio, and they have these goals. And we ask, what are your goals? But I'm starting to shy away from the conversation about goals, because a goal sets up an end.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit more about why that end might be detrimental to a wellness journey?
So something we see is people get stagnant when they reach a goal.
Mhm.
And that is something me and you've talked about. You opened my eyes actually to that. There's not a goal, there's a lifestyle. Even as a mindset and lifestyle coach, I preach lifestyle, but so many women come to me with a goal. And so what happens is we're almost in a dopamine rush. As humans, we chase something, right? That is something that even when we hunt, we're hunters and gatherers. So we're after something. So when you have something that you're working toward, that you're getting to, all of a sudden you have a dopamine rush, you have a push to get there. So we get there, and now what do? And we're kind of like, and I see that in a lot of my clients. Especially I have a detox class going on, and that happens every month. And they said, I had one client that asked me, well, what do I do in February after January? Well, this is a lifestyle you have to continue. And that's kind of the conversation that me and you had about that opened up goals. And so you reach that goal, you don't have the dopamine rush to push you any further, and you don't know where to go from there.
And maybe you stop.
You do.
Maybe you just stop. And that's not living on a wellness journey.
No.
And you and I met, one of the first things that we ever did, you coached me through a parasite cleanse.
Yes.
And it is a protocol that you do every single night. You're taking several natural supplements, herbs, spices, oils, and together they help flush parasites out of the system. And then you come to that, it's a 2-week on, 2-week off period. So 2 weeks on, you go 2 weeks off, you do it again. This is not a wellness journey is not something you do, you get to a goal, and then you stop doing. It's not that. It is a lifestyle. So I want to really make that point.
Yes, absolutely.
Like a true holistic wellness journey is a lifestyle change.
Yes, absolutely. Like last night, just as you would go to a doctor for a wellness check, I sat down and I said, if I'm going to come in here and talk about this today, I'm going to practice what I preach. And I realized I hadn't sat down and done a wellness check on me in several months. And that's something I love to connect. That's awareness. And that's also where we see a lot of people grow stagnant in they reach a goal and they're not aware enough of mentally and intellectually maybe of what happens after this goal. And they don't connect it back to mind, body, spirit, that this is a lifestyle versus a goal I'm going to reach. And so what happens is I sit down and I follow the wheel.
Okay, so tell me specifically, what is that? What do you do first? You open your journal, you have this wheel, what do you do? What do you write?
So you need to know your 8 things that you're going to touch on, which is spiritual, emotional, occupational, intellectual, physical, environmental, financial, social.
And you just wrote those out in a list.
Yes, and then underneath those 8, and like I said, I'm going to start with spiritual every single time. I think that's so big. So number 1, I write out spiritual. And this is accountability, this is reality, this is awareness. Where am I at spiritually? Am I truly seeking God? Am I truly going to my Bible daily? Am I being in His Word? And maybe if we just go on down that list and jump to financial, because I think that's something that holds a lot of us back. On financial, say we get down to financial, and we do this with each 8 different topics. When you get to financial, so am I financially safe with money? Do I have a broke mindset? And a lot of times, and this is something when I actually coach clients financially, and that goes into entrepreneurship, that we really hone in on that holistic financial part. And that is, what is my relationship with money? And so, am I safe with money? And so that is something, maybe we need to work on that. And ask yourself, am I living paycheck to paycheck? And I understand in today's world that's not, that doesn't give you a status.
Right.
But am I comfortable? What is my relationship with money? Because if you don't have a good holistic relationship with money, then this creates anxiety. And so now this goes into your mental, this goes into your emotional. And the same thing with social. Am I comfortable in a social setting? And I think a lot of us aren't, and I think when we actually ask ourselves, when you walk in a room, do you feel confident, or what is the feeling that you feel?
And honestly, we are designed, the Father designed us to connect with other people. So if one of your issues is you don't feel comfortable connecting with other people, you have something to dig into there. You have something to investigate and find out why. And then shift the way that you connect with people into something more successful. So if you have someone coming to you and they sit down and say, I just don't feel like I'm in charge of my life, and there's some sort of breakdown. You take them through the wellness wheel, and maybe you get to the social part, and you see a social disconnect. How would you coach someone who, these days we have terms like antisocial behavior, social anxiety, and so we put those terms on them, very serious terms, and now we've got medicines for them. So how would you coach someone from a wellness standpoint on how to tackle that social disconnect, that social pie slice in the whole wellness wheel?
So I'm going to go back, word nerd. Big on words. Your words create your reality. Your words create your future. So the first thing we're going to do is someone that comes to me and we find that social disconnect and they start telling me they have social anxiety. Right there, we do not have anxiety. We're going to stop and we're going to speak, okay, we got to figure out why you feel that way. And something in as a holistic practitioner in a holistic wellness setting, you treat the root and not rooted and radiant. I love that.
Yeah.
So you treat the root versus the disease or versus
The symptoms.
the symptoms and whatever is attached to this person. So we break attachments, and that's very biblical. Which is, I'm a faith-based holistic coach. So we've got to figure out what is the root cause. Why do you feel that way? So you have social, when you walk in, you feel anxiety. What makes you feel anxiety? Because really that's something we need to take up on ourselves. Did someone in the room make you feel anxiety? You know, because really our own emotions are our own emotions. And that goes back into the emotional, when we say everything on that wheel, and that is why when we look at that wheel, it all interconnects to it. It creates a whole.
Okay.
So
a couple of times we have, and I'm going to send us into a break real quick, but a couple of times we have mentioned doctors and medicine. And so when we come back, I want to talk about alternative versus traditional medicine, and can you interchange the two, and is one better than the other? Because I don't think we're saying that here at all.
Absolutely.
And so I want to touch on that when we come back. But for right now, I want to throw it to a little tiny break from our sponsor for this.
Rooted and Radiant. To be a participating sponsor of this podcast or any other podcast, contact Sarah Stagg at the Ashley News Observer.
Okay, welcome back to Rooted and Radiant. We are talking about, I'm Sarah Stagg with the Ashley News Observer, co-host Jessica Parker with Heaven Bound, Our Son Skincare and Life Coaching. And if you were with us before, you know that we are coming back to talk to you about alternative medicine and traditional medicine and where that fits into true holistic wellness, because I think maybe you agree with me that in today's definition, that the generic understood, the way that the world understands wellness, it's like if you take on a wellness journey that has a lot of traditional medicine, that you cannot use a doctor anymore or the alternative medicine. And I want to back up even more than that, that's false, by the way, and we're going to talk about why that's false. But I want to back up even more because I think most people today think of traditional medicine as pharmaceuticals.
Yes.
Would you agree with that? Because
Yes.
we've had pharmaceuticals. Most people on this earth today have had some sort of pharmaceutical in existence their entire life. And so that would lead us to the erroneous belief that pharmaceuticals are traditional medicines, and they're not. That term, traditional medicine, it pertains to herbs, spices, plants, oils, natural, the natural remedies that God provided us with. Alternative medicine, on the other hand, is those pharmaceuticals.
yes.
So let's talk about, we have most, if not all people today, go to, and especially in our region, go to a doctor of alternative medicine.
Yes.
For those who come to you and you're going to start working them in with more traditional medicine, how do you do that? Do you cut them off from the doctor and say, you can't go back to them anymore, drop all your alternative medicines?
No, absolutely not. So when we talk holistically, so say, let's go back to social, where we were when we stopped this break, or we started the break. So let's say that we're on a social thing, and this person is experiencing social, what we would consider anxiety. I don't like to use that word, but let's say they're experiencing, that is their diagnosis from an alternative doctor, and maybe they're on several different medications for anxiety. So what we do is we just go to the root cause. I'm not going to give you, I may suggest you valerian tea, chamomile tea at night, but we treat the root cause. And when we holistically treat the person as a whole, if we're working on their social, and they understand, really, when I was a child, maybe they got bullied. Maybe they had something that was going on with them appearance-wise. We can go deeper, and maybe they came from a poor family, and so every time they walked in a room, they entered a room, they felt less than. They felt like they were bullied, they were picked, and so we start instilling confidence. And now this person doesn't experience that social anxiety. So possibly they could work with their alternative doctor to decrease that medicine.
Right.
And so it's not to take from alternative medicine, it's really to partner with, to heal the person as a whole. Alternative medicine has a beautiful place, but it doesn't have to be the only place.
Right.
And so that's the same thing if someone was experiencing tons of anxiety because let's say someone lost their job. If it was a husband-wife, and they went through financial issues and she's had to go to the doctor to get on maybe medicine for anxiety, or depression. And so now we've worked through those financial relationships, and maybe they just have always been poor with money. And now we have learned how to have a better relationship with money, build a business, market this business. And so we went through that, and now we're not needing that medicine anymore.
So we've treated the root.
Yes.
With natural ways.
Yes.
And then we can, with doctor approval, pull back from that medicine that was treating the symptoms.
Yes, even with the gut detox. If we want to talk about, I would love to talk about the physical. I don't feel like we've really talked about the physical. And so we've talked about everything, but if we talk about physical, so let's say that someone, and anyone that comes to me, I have a list of suggested supplements that we will go over, that we will, you will take, and we will slowly take them. You get those upon enrollment, and then you can take those to your I suggest you take them to your alternative doctor. It's something I push so that you can make sure these are not going to have any interactions with any alternative medicine that you are taking. And so what happens is maybe they were having gut issues. They were having super bad acid reflux, and so we kill some of the candida, the H. pylori. We get you on a better diet. And because I do a lot of nutrition coaching throughout the detox, and we get you into Namaste with Miss Sarah Stagg, we have you moving your body. And now we've lowered possibly your blood pressure. We've cut out acid reflux. We've got you moving. Maybe your mental's up now because your confidence was down because you didn't feel good. And so at that point, your alternative medicine may need to be decreased. So yes, it has, they work beautifully together. One, I'm going to work with you all month. I'm going to be there to support you.
And that's for the gut health class, right,
yes.
that you offer, which I went through that, and I had been suffering from different digestive issues for quite some time. 2017, I moved back home, and that's really when I can pinpoint that they started. And at first I did elimination diet. So I would eliminate fried foods. I would eliminate sodas. I would eliminate breads. And all that's a great thing to do. Eliminate those. Those are not good for you. But nothing was changing. And then I went to gastrointestinal doctors, GI doctors, and one of them told me I needed to eat more junk food. One of them told me maybe I take in too much air when I talk. I think maybe he was trying to tell me that I talk too much. But none of those sat well with me, so I didn't follow through with them. And then I ran into a classmate of mine that had grown up to be a nurse practitioner who specialized in gut health, and she got me on the more natural side of things. And then I ran into Jessica and did her gut health class. And what I noticed was, as we went through the gut health class, I was taking alternative medicines out of my cabinet and replacing them. And I even texted you one day, I cannot believe I'm looking in my medicine cabinet and it's mostly herbs, spices, and oils. And
yes.
And so with that gut health class, she was able to zero in on some of the symptoms I was having, treat them with cloves, oil of oregano, some of the just natural things that we have in our toolbox naturally. And We have really tackled my digestive issues, and they are down to none.
That is amazing.
No.
And so you said toolbox. And so that is something I always say with every client of mine, everything comes to your phone. I do weekly check-ins where we have conversations, but my big thing is sending you tools. In my gut detox class, when I break this, you get a slide Monday, Wednesday. And when I say a slide, it is literally information on a slide that I have turned into a picture. I send it to your phone, and that is because this is a tool that you will put in your toolbox that you will use over and over and over again.
Because it's a lifestyle.
It is a lifestyle. and so I love that you said that. And what's funny is I always tell people your first medicine cabinet is your kitchen. Mama knew what she was doing when she was cooking that chicken noodle soup when we were sick, and that was something my daughter got sick not long ago, and we was in the kitchen, and it wasn't that I was pouring chicken noodle soup that was processed out of a can.
No. Just say no to cans.
Yes,
Just say no to cans.
I think I have 2 cans in my cabinet right now, and I think it surprises people. So the young kids, and maybe somebody will know this, the almond mom. I'm called the almond mom. And at first I was like, what in the world is an almond mom? So almond mom is an all natural mom. This is like an internet saying that I didn't know until we moved home. And so all the kids call me the almond mom because
I like that.
You can't find processed food in my house.
Yeah.
And but yeah, it was cloves, it was garlic, it was cayenne pepper, it was turmeric and black pepper, and I cooked chicken with bone in it because that bone broth has so many minerals. And so yes, it is understanding holistically that this is a lifestyle, and I want to give you the tools. Sarah wants to give you the tools, trust me. I'm actually on a health journey myself. I have understood what my body needs, but I think I have lacked learning what my body physically needed to how it needed to move. And you have been helping me tremendously, keeping me accountable, keeping me moving. And so that's something that in a few y'all will eventually see the results. We're gonna show them realistically, like a working single mom in a small town,
running her own business, building it from the ground up.
And the struggles of it. And to stay on that path.
That wellness journey, yes.
And I think we want those immediate results. Yeah. And I think that goes back to holistic. We're not going to get them.
Yeah. And really, why do you need the results right now when this is a lifestyle change? I mean, you're fixing to live like this for the rest of your life. And I do want to make this point. Sometimes, and maybe some of you are in a household, and we'll call it a divided household, even though I don't like division. I live in a divided household. My husband does not want anything to do with hippy drippy, hoodoo, voodoo, wellness stuff. And he'll let you know right off the bat. He'll also let you know, or I'll let you know, that I tried to move our kitchen and our practices and our eating and moving habits more to my liking, and we almost didn't stay married. That almost was a game changer. So what I do, instead of giving up, and maybe this will speak to some of you out there who really want to be on a wellness journey, but your kids and your husband really aren't in that with you, you can cook for yourself. And you can cook for them too. I know, I've mentioned the word overbusy. We have an overbusy world. This is going to make you even busier, but there are ways to streamline your process, cooking for you, planning for you, and cooking for your kids and your husband. And maybe we'll do a whole podcast on that coming up, because that's my reality.
Mine too,
I cook 2 meals every meal, mine and theirs. And because it's just not a fight that I don't want to fight at all, but that's not a battle I want to fight at all. So I feel like we've talked about a lot of things, and you and I, we know the lingo and we know the concepts behind wellness and the holistic part of wellness. And so I want to, because I feel like maybe those watching are overwhelmed, and I really don't want that to happen. So 5 simple ways to start a wellness journey. Let's do 5.
5? Okay. Let's jump there. And I love that. Be aware. Where is your awareness at? Be aware of where I am the least healthiest holistically.
Okay, so take a good look at where you are.
Yes, be aware.
An honest look.
Honest. And I think that is where we have, yes, absolutely self-aware, bird's eye view. And I'll say this, and we spoke about this yesterday, and I'm going to bring it back. If it is your environment, how dirty is your house? And I know that's a trigger.
That reminds me, I read some research yesterday. The average human takes 20,000 breaths a day.
Yes.
Think about what you're breathing in 20,000 times all day long. That blew my mind. 20,000 breaths.
And so if, like, in our studios, you will find that there's only beeswax. In my home, there's only beeswax.
And that's in the scent burners.
Yes, and that purifies the air versus paraffin wax puts chemicals in the air. And so we have a rise in asthma and headaches and all of this. And a lot of times it's the fragrances, because we all love to smell good. Who doesn't?
Right.
You can make your own cleaner, and maybe that'll be an episode too. Trust me, we have so much to share with y'all throughout this year.
So the first simple way is awareness, really taking a bird's eye view. Can you give? I said 5, but we're getting that the signal that we need to wrap this up. So give me two more ways that we can start a wellness journey today. Awareness,
and honestly, a plan and action.
Okay.
So if we just are aware, we make it a reality, we make a plan, and you take the first step, no matter how small that step is, a baby step is closer than it was if you're standing still.
That's right. An example of a baby step, I could have drunk or poured me another cup of coffee after noon, and I did hot tea instead. That's a baby step.
Absolutely.
That's a baby step toward wellness, because I love caffeine, I love coffee, but I'm here to tell you it's not good for you.
Ditto. I almost got my little coffee.
That's a literal
tea.
baby step. So this is Rooted and Radiant. I am Sarah Stagg with the Ashley News Observer. This is Jessica Parker with Heaven Bound Earth Sun Skincare and Life Coaching. Hey, if you want to sponsor one of our podcasts, we do this once a week. It's $100 a week. Give me a call, 870-364-5186. That is the newsroom number. Give that a call. I want to leave you with this thought. Live rooted, not rushed. Choose alignment over urgency, and you will be radiant. We'll see y'all next time.
You've been watching Rooted and Radiant, an original presentation of the Ashley News Observer. Rooted and Radiant. To be a participating sponsor of this podcast or any other podcast, contact Sarah Stagg at the Ashley News Observer.